One of my subscribers recently brought my attention to this channel called Lovely Kittens AI, and honestly, they're absolutely killing it. The channel was created last November, but posted their first video on the 28th of December. But in just a little over 3 months, they've racked up over 345,000 subscribers from just 88 videos. If you take a closer look at the channel, they're simply creating short, funny AI-animated animal stories with a clever twist at the end. Nothing complicated, just an interesting story idea, coupled with some rather impressive storytelling and images. But the videos are resonating so much with their audience that the channel already has more than 26 million views from these viral videos that are raking in hundreds of thousands and even millions of views. And this isn't just a trend, as you can see from here. Even their new videos are still doing pretty well, with some already bringing in more than 100,000 views. So if you're looking for a YouTube Shorts niche that won't take too much of your time while being lucrative, then this is a good option. However, I know that some people will still claim that this channel is not monetized, so let's check monetization. You can use a tool like Nextlev, or even install YouTube Monetization Checker from the Chrome store. Then go to the channel page and click this icon. You'll see this button that says Check this channel. Simply click it, and in a few minutes' time, you'll see whether the channel is monetized or not. As you can see, this channel is fully monetized. So there's nothing stopping you from giving it a shot. To make it easier for you to create these videos, I'm going to walk you through the entire process. We'll go through everything from coming up with some ideas for the videos to creating the voiceover. Then we'll look at the best way to generate the same level of image quality as these guys. Finally, we'll move on to actually editing one of these videos. Just a heads up, I've created a Google Doc which will contain every single prompt that I'll be using in this video. You can find the Google Doc in the prompt channel of my Discord server. Simply look for the name Lovely Kittens AI and you'll find it right under the title. The link to the Discord server will be in the description of this video as well as on my channel page. Guys, these prompts honestly take a while to put together, so I'd appreciate a like if you find this helpful. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps me out and keeps me motivated to keep dropping more tutorials like this. To give you a quick glimpse of what we're about to create in this video, check out this short demo I made using the exact same strategy I'm about to walk you through.
The king of the other jungle, furious for not catching Simba, hires the best mercenaries to eliminate him. Among them are a cheetah, a giant crocodile, and 3 strong tigers. Give a like to power up the little cub. The cheetah goes first. But later, the lion hears that the cheetah was turned into a rug for the king. Then, he sends the crocodile, but soon he finds out the croc was turned into a fancy crocodile leather chair. Finally, he sends the tigers, but they return terrified. "What happened, tigers?" asked the lion. "That little guy tried to turn us into a fur coat. And what happened?" "Then we told him we'd find him a better coat if he spared our lives." "You stupid tigers. Where do you think you'll find a fur coat?" "Well, the king told us he really likes lion fur coats."
Now, the first step is to come up with some story ideas for the video. It's quite easy to come up with ideas for this style of video, so I recommend looking at some popular stories on YouTube and other social media platforms and taking inspiration from them. But if you want a simpler option, head over to the Google Doc that I mentioned earlier and look for this heading. Copy the prompt and go to your preferred text generator. I'll be using ChatGPT for this demonstration, but both DeepSeek and Qwen work perfectly, so feel free to use whichever one you prefer. Go ahead and paste the prompt inside the text area. You don't need to change much here. Simply specify the number of stories you want the AI to generate. Feel free to choose as many as you want, but I'll go with 5. One thing you need to keep in mind is that the prompt is structured to not only generate the ideas, but also create the entire script. So you can choose the word count you want for the story. It's set to generate stories ranging from 100 to 150 words. This works perfectly for the channel we are modeling, but you can increase or decrease it based on your personal preference. Once everything is set, just hit enter and let ChatGPT do its thing. As you can see, it's generated some pretty cool stories that you can use for your video. Not only does it come up with unique story ideas, but it also gives the full narration. So go through each of these and choose the story that you like. If none of these seem interesting to you, go ahead and regenerate for a fresh batch. Now that you have your story, the next step is to generate the voiceover. There are plenty of AI voice generators that you can use for this part, but if you're looking for a free option, Clipchamp is a solid choice. So feel free to check it out. However, for this demonstration, I'll be using 11 Labs since it's one of the best on the market. Head over to their voice library and browse through the available voices till you find whatever voice you prefer. If you have a specific voice character in mind, you can simply search for it. Otherwise, go to the filters and select your preferred language, in this case English, choose an American accent, set the gender to male, and select the age range for the voice you want to use. I think middle-aged is fine, so I'll choose that. But feel free to choose one and test some of the voices. For this demonstration, I'll choose a random voice and go back to the text area. Paste the narration and hit generate. If it doesn't sound good enough, you can make changes to the settings till you find what works for you. This one sounds slow, so I'll increase the speed slightly and try regenerating again. Now that the narration is ready, it's time to generate the images for the video. But before that, we need prompts that we can give to the image generator. This part is equally easy, so I recommend going through the story yourself and coming up with images that would best fit each scene of your story. It doesn't take much time since these stories are typically quite short. However, I've created a prompt that will simplify this process as well. So go to the Google Doc and copy everything under this heading, paste it inside ChatGPT, and make these changes. First, you need to specify the number of image prompts that you want to generate. Feel free to choose as many as you want, but let's go with 10. Then you also need to add the story. So make sure you've got your story copied and remove this placeholder. Then paste it inside these square brackets and hit enter. Wait a few seconds and your image prompts should be ready. As you can see, the AI has generated 10 unique prompts for the story. And the best part is that each prompt includes the style, description, setting, and emotion. These prompts are pretty solid, but I still recommend modifying a few to generate any scenes that the AI may have missed. Since the image prompts are ready, it's time to create the images. You can use whichever image generator you prefer. Leonardo AI and Google's Image FX are both good options. So feel free to use any of these for this style of image. But the channel we are modeling uses ChatGPT for theirs, so we'll be using that. If you don't have a ChatGPT Plus subscription, you can still get good quality images from any of the other two or any other image generator you prefer. Just make sure you choose the 3D or Pixar animation style if you need to select a model. The first thing you need to do is open ChatGPT. Keep in mind that you can't simply generate the classic Pixar animation style with the new ChatGPT 4.0 update. Instead, you need to go to the sidebar and select Explore GPT. Then scroll down till you find DALL-E and choose it. Hit this button and paste your first prompt. You can specify the aspect ratio to something like 9:16, depending on your personal preference. But the channel we're modeling uses a square aspect ratio, so you don't need to make any changes to the prompt. Simply hit enter and wait for ChatGPT to finish generating the image. I'm sure you already know that ChatGPT has a lot of restrictions when it comes to image generation. So you may encounter this issue where it's unable to generate the image due to a specific word or phrase in the prompt. In this case, it's the use of the word Simba. This can be quite frustrating, but simply changing the word should solve the issue. Now let's wait for the result. These images look great, so you can definitely use them for the story. If something is missing, feel free to modify the prompt and regenerate. I'll paste the second prompt, this time an image of Simba sitting on a throne, and hit enter. Check out these images as well. They're just as impressive as the previous ones, so we can use them for the story. I'll generate a few more of these images before moving on to the next step, which is editing the video. But before that, I like to enhance the quality of my images. Feel free to skip this, but your final video would have a higher quality this way. You can also do this after you've created your video, except most video upscalers can be quite expensive. So I personally prefer increasing the resolution of the images first, before importing them into the video editor. The tool I recommend for this is Upscale with a Y. It's free to install on your computer and works for both Windows and Mac. Once it's installed, you can add individual images and enhance their resolution separately, but that can take too much time. Instead, it's better to do them all at once. You should put your image files inside a single folder. Then check Batch Upscale and select the folder that contains your files. Next, choose your preferred model, as well as the scale you want to enhance. For these images, 2 or 3 times should work perfectly. For Batch Upscale, the tool typically creates a folder inside the selected folder to output the images, but you can also specify a location. Hit Upscale and the process should begin. The duration typically depends on the speed of your computer and the number of images, so the entire process could take anywhere from a few seconds to a couple of minutes. Once this is complete, it's time to edit the video. You can use any video editor you prefer, but CapCut works perfectly, so I'll be using that one. The first thing you need to do is to open CapCut and import all your images as well as the narration. Then add the voiceover to the timeline. This next part is very important since you want to maintain the pace for shorts. The video needs to be fast-paced, so make sure you go through the voiceover and remove any gaps. Don't forget to keep playing the audio to ensure that the narration flows smoothly. Once that's done, the next step is to grab the first image and drop it into the cover layer. Now, one very important thing you should know is that CapCut typically takes the aspect ratio of the first image or video you add to your project. So you need to hit this button and choose the aspect ratio that you want for your video. In this case, I'll choose 9:16 since we are creating short-form content. You need to decide how long each image is going to be, so I recommend playing the voiceover and then increasing or decreasing the duration of that particular image. For this image, I'll decrease it to something like this. It's just about 1.5 seconds. Then copy the image and paste it right above the one on the cover layer. Select the image on the bottom layer and drag the corners to scale it up. Go to Effect, look for Blur, and drag and drop it on top of the bottom image. You can play around with how blurry you want the image to be, but once you're done, make sure the top image is selected. Go to Animation, select Combo, and choose one of these. It doesn't really matter which one you choose first, but I'll go with this Zoom 1 animation for the first image. You don't need to change the duration of the animation, so simply leave it as it is. Then bring in the second image and repeat the same process. First trim it, then duplicate and position it directly above the one on the cover layer. Scale the image on the bottom layer and add the blur effect to the layer. Decrease the blurriness and select the top layer. Add a combo animation to it and repeat this for the next images. To make things faster, you can actually skip scaling the bottom images or even adding the blur effect. We'll fix that with a simple trick later. Just arrange all the images according to the flow of your story. Make sure you also duplicate every single image you add to the cover layer. For places where you are asking viewers to like the video, you need to add a loading bar and like button. So simply head over to your preferred stock video website, in this case, Pixabay. Select videos and search for loading bar. Look through the results and choose whichever one you prefer. This one looks alright, so I'll download it. You can also search for a like button as well and download that. The design typically depends on your personal preference. Import them inside CapCut and drop the loading bar at the point where you want to ask for the viewers to like the video. In case the video doesn't have a transparent background, but instead has a colored background like this. Go to Remove BG, check Chroma key, and use the color picker to select the background color. As you can see, it's done a pretty good job removing the background. Feel free to scale down the image and position it here. Next, you need to go to Speed and increase the speed of the clip. For finer control over the speed, make sure you're still on the Speed tab with the clip selected. Then put the cursor at this corner where you see this shape. Drag it to increase the speed. Some of these clips come with their own sound effect, so you can choose to either leave or remove it. This all depends on your personal preference. Repeat this process for the like button clip as well. You can also go to Adjustment and play around with these settings to find the look that you prefer. I'll quickly speed through arranging the remainder of the images. Now once you're done, select all the images on the cover layer and create a compound clip. Then with the compound clip selected, scale it to fit the full height of the canvas. If you have already added the blur effect to the first few images like I did, you can double-click the compound clip and select those clips. Go to Basic, Effect, and hit this button to delete it. Repeat this for any other image you applied the blur effect to, and go back to the main composition once you're done. Then go to Effects and drag the blur effect on top of the compound clip. You can choose how blurry you want the background to be. This looks alright, so I'll leave it and move on to adding combo animations to the top layers. Make sure you apply the animation to every single one of the images. Once you're done with that, it's time to add sound effects. So go to Audio, Sound Effect, and search for a whoosh or any sound you want to add to the video. Play a few till you find the one you want, then drag it into your timeline. Make sure you position it at the beginning of the animation and decrease the volume slightly. Copy the sound effect, move the cursor to the beginning of the next image, and paste it. Repeat this process as many times as necessary till you've added that sound effect to every single image. Now it's time to add a filter. So go through the available options and choose the one you want. The clear filter works perfectly, so I'll drag and drop it in the timeline. Then extend it to cover the full video. The video is looking good, so it's time to add captions. Go to Text, Auto Captions, and hit Generate. Once that's done, go to Templates and look through these options. Keep in mind that CapCut has made most of these templates paid at the moment, so you may not be able to use them. Even the ones that aren't paid may still not be available since they could be using a text animation that's also paid. So you may need CapCut's paid version to use the template that you want. That said, free users can still use any of the available free ones or a third-party captions application. Feel free to keep the captions where they are, but the channel we're modeling has theirs at the top, so I'll move it over there. The final step before we export the video is to add a background music. You can look through YouTube Audio Library or a platform like Chosic for any royalty-free track that fits the mood of your video. Then add it to the timeline and decrease the volume so that it doesn't overpower the voiceover. Don't forget to trim any excess and maybe add a fade out. Finally, you can export your video at either 1080p, 2 or 4K resolution. Now I know the numbers on this niche are impressive, but you may be more into long-form niche ideas. If that's you, I've put together this playlist of some of the hottest long-form channel ideas that you can start right now.